dress. That's a nice dress.
Don't even look at me.
Hey, Glenn.
Yeah, go to hell.
Heard that one already.
Ladies and gentlemen, the pleb is back. In this report, well, folks, the liberals are melting down yet again, and this time it's about the Pierre Poilievre and Jordan Peterson podcast. Now, some of these reactions are just so funny that we got to cover them on today's show, so you won't want to miss this report. Stick around. Before we start this report, all I'm asking is you smash subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Over on this channel, we make fun of the left, so if you are based, smash subscribe and let's start the report. Well, folks, I don't think I've seen the liberals this upset since at least yesterday, as this Jordan Peterson and Pierre Poilievre podcast is blowing up on the internet and making them go absolutely crazy. Now, when I say this podcast is blowing up all over social media, I mean it's blowing up as it's doing massive numbers here on X with 41 million views alone in under 48 hours. And the numbers for this interview are doing really well on YouTube as well, with this interview, long form, 1 hour and 40-minute video, getting 1.4 million views in just one day. Now, this interview is obviously going viral. The numbers don't lie. Math never lies. But these testimonials that you're going to see online are going to prove even further how huge the reach is for this podcast. A user on X by the name of Brian Bruget said this: "My plumber this morning told me to watch this video. I'm serious here. That's how strong the pull of Jordan Peterson is. He and Poilievre are reaching out to different voters. I expect surprises in the next election because of this turnout effect." And that wasn't the only testimonial like that I saw online. Look at this. Another X user by the name of Brad Tennant had this to say: "I turned on the Poilievre Jordan Peterson interview today. My furnace was out and a mid-20s guy was here fixing it. He immediately recognized that what I was watching and started raving about the interview. Amazing reach these platforms have. The game has changed, even if the legacy media hasn't." The reach of these podcasts are truly incredible. I mean, they won Trump the last election. We don't need the mainstream media. They are completely irrelevant. And the reach truly blows my mind away. A channel with like 200,000 subscribers. I get recognized at airports, malls, anytime I'm out in public, and I only have 200,000 subs. Enough about myself. Let's continue talking about the topic of reach of this podcast. And if you want to see how big the reach truly was, look whose attention it caught. This podcast had so much reach that it actually caught the attention of the world's richest man, Elon Musk. Yes, the most powerful man in the world recognized this interview. And now is where the story gets fun, because the fact that Elon Musk recognized it, well, the left had themselves an absolute hissy fit. Our first meltdown comes courtesy of Mark Miller, who writes one of the weirdest lines I've ever seen on a shit talk post. And he says this: "Not the biggest surprise in the world to see these two greasy walruses promote each other's ego. Is this where we're headed? A greasy walrus? That truly is probably the worst trash talk I've ever seen in my life, but these meltdowns continue." Toronto columnist and soy lord Bruce Arthur had this to say: "Sitting down for a friendly interview with Jordan Peterson should be disqualifying, while being endorsed by Elon Musk is something stronger than that. We're headed for this." Oh boy. It was equally. And Rachel Gilmore's reaction to this interview was equally funny as she put out this statement: "I watched the entire Jordan Peterson interview with Pierre Poilievre. It was bad. Really bad. I barely made it out alive. Please enjoy the fruits of my pain. Now, in Rachel Gilmore's defense, yes, I'm going to defend her. I feel the same way when I watch Justin Trudeau interviews, so I guess that one's kind of fair. But Dean Blundell's reaction may truly take the cake here in terms of meltdowns, as he puts out this statement saying, "Good time to remind everyone that Jordan Peterson is a paid Russian asset. Left Canada for America and just interviewed Pierre Poilievre, who is still refusing his national security background check." Get your security clearance, Pierre. But what I'm about to show you next is probably the craziest, as apparently a member of parliament by the name of Ikra Khalid apparently takes her talking points from Dean Blundell. A Liberal member of parliament put this statement out, basically accusing Pierre Poilievre of treason by saying, "Did Russia fund a recent Pierre Poilievre interview? I guess he will never know because he refuses to get his security clearance." And this post is getting completely ratioed, a brutal ratio of 268 likes to 3,100 comments. Oof. And this slanderous comment caught the attention of Jordan Peterson, who told this MP, "Dear Miss Khalid, watch it. Seriously." And as I pointed out on X yesterday, I do find it kind of ironic how she is the one accusing Pierre Poilievre of treason when this member of parliament is a dual citizen who holds a passport to the country of Pakistan and Canada. Isn't that rich? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think any members of parliament should be allowed to hold dual citizenships. If you are going to represent Canada at the highest level of government, you need to renounce your other citizenships. You need to show full loyalty to Canada. I don't know. Am I right about this? Tell me in the comments down below. Now, this Jordan Peterson and Pierre Poilievre podcast was all kinds of awesome. I even live streamed the entire thing on my channel yesterday and reacted to the whole interview. But I wanted to share in this episode my favorite 2 moments from the podcast. During the interview, this particular clip caught my attention because I think this is the first time we've ever seen Pierre Poilievre swear on camera, and it was quite frankly hilarious. Watch.
And by the way, the liberal media is all saying, well, surely you wouldn't want to trigger an election during a liberal leadership race. Excuse me, the Canadian people are not obliged, 41 million people are not obliged to wait around while this party sorts out its shit.
I've never heard Pierre Poilievre swear, but I mean, he's just keeping it real here. Where's the lie?
It's shit. Like, these guys could have got rid of Trudeau a year and a half ago. They knew he was a disaster then. And now they say, well, we're low in the polls, so we have to get rid of him. Now, you didn't care when he was just depriving single mothers of food for their kids, or doubling housing costs, or unleashing crime in neighborhoods across the country. But now you're really concerned about getting rid of him because your poll numbers are down and you want to keep your job. Sorry, that's not a good reason to paralyze the entire country, in the face, by the way, of a major negotiation with the incoming U.S. president, who enters with a massive and powerful mandate, and a man who has proven that he can spot weakness from a mile away.
And he's right. Trudeau is weak. Pierre Poilievre brings up a good point. Why does Canada have to be held hostage while the Liberals, and I quote, sort out their own shit? And the Liberals need to realize whoever they run against Pierre Poilievre is going to get absolutely annihilated. It doesn't matter who they put in there. So they may as well let Trudeau run and face the Canadian public and let them decide if he should be prime minister again or not. And my second favorite moment from the podcast was when Pierre Poilievre said he is going to put an end to all these foreign conflicts playing out in our streets, with these insane pro-Palestine protesters harassing Jews here in Canada, or even the Indians fighting each other, the Khalistanis against the Hindus. All of this crap is going to come to an end.
And, in the last 9 years, we've seen that's come apart. The
terribly.
foreign conflicts are now spilling onto our streets. I want to put an end to that. I want to say, look, we're not interested in the world's ethno-cultural conflicts. We welcome people.
Shadow side of multiculturalism.
We welcome the people who come from places that have been afflicted by war, as long as they leave the war behind. And frankly, most people come here to get away from those things. So by getting back to a common sense of values and identity and reminding people that when they get here, they are Canadian first.
That's right.
Canada first. Leave the hyphens. We don't need to be a hyphenated society. We need to be.
So we can abandon the post-nationalist state rhetoric and presume that Canada does have a Western identity founded on the a priori principles of Western democracies, and that
right.
is a uniting ethos for the people that come here.
Finally, Pierre Poilievre is talking about it. It's one of the things that bothers me the most, to see the newcomers in our streets arguing with each other over things that are happening on the other side of the globe. When you come to Canada, you have a chance at a new life. You are so incredibly lucky to be coming into this country. Why would you bring all the crap from your country that makes it terrible over here? It just doesn't make any sense. It's time to put Canada first. And these foreign conflicts in our streets just keep happening. And now the Palestine protesters are getting more and more bold here, as they're now climbing on churches in Montreal and setting off smoke bombs during their protests. Like, you come to Canada, you have the chance at a new life, and this is the way you behave. It's truly, truly disgraceful. Like, seriously, if you're going to behave like this, you need to be deported. And even Elon Musk, for the first time ever in my X career, liked one of my tweets. It's usually the fake Elon Musk, like all the other times it happened. But guess what? This post I just showed you got liked by Elon Musk, where I'm saying we need to start the deportations based on behavior like this. The smartest man in the world agrees with the pleb. What a time to be alive. So yes, folks, Elon Musk quote tweeted Pierre Poilievre's interview and said it's a great interview. And he liked my post pointing out the current mess we have in Montreal with the Palestine protesters. Now that Elon Musk helped save America, is he going to save Canada next? Because it's obvious he has his eyes on Canada. All right, folks, we're going to wrap today's episode, but I want you to tell me in the comments down below, what did you guys think of these liberal meltdowns over the Pierre Poilievre and Jordan Peterson interview? Were they absolutely hilarious? Were they cringe? I want to hear it in the comments down below. Also, Pierre Poilievre and Jordan Peterson's podcast, was that Pierre Poilievre's best interview ever? Tell me in the comments. All right, guys, if you want to support my channel, you already did it by watching this video. So thank you for tuning in today. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. My name is The Pleb, and I'll see you at the next report. Peace.